Hi everyone, just a quick one to get you all thinking a little bit about your farm's biosecurity, especially considering the heightened risks that we are now facing with the AI outbreaks over the summer and the increasing risk that we're now going to face coming into the autumn with migratory birds. Currently, we're getting quite a lot of inquiries about which wheel wash disinfection system is the best to install on farm. Now, we are completely agnostic, brand agnostic, and we don't recommend a particular product. But the big issue I have is that why are we wanting to put a wheel wash in anyway? What is your motivation? Why do you want to do it? Don't get me wrong, they can be particularly effective in many situations, but if you do, but you need to ask yourself, what am I actually trying to stop? There is no scientific definitive evidence that vehicles have brought bird flu onto a farm on their wheels. Moreover, the consensus is still that wild birds are the primary source of infection on farm, and we still see that today. If vehicles have been implicated, anecdotally, it's normally the driver that's at fault, who's walked into a building with his dirty boots on that basically he hasn't cleaned or are contaminated from his footwell. Couple things here with respect to the wheel washes. Wild birds don't walk through wheel washes. They don't dip their feet, all right, either. But yeah, don't dip the feet either. If you accept that the AI virus may randomly enter your farm on a wild bird, that suggests to me that time and money is on biosecurity is always better spent making sure that the virus cannot actually get into your buildings. At the end of the day, unless the virus is in the building, it cannot infect the bird. So it's just a point to remember there. Nearly all buildings now, because of the previous few years of bird flu, are all now fairly bird proof. So that's unlikely to be a route that the virus gets in. So in our experience, how does it get in? Well, there's two ways basically. The first way is through contaminated dirty water leaking into the building that's got the virus in and therefore spreads about once it's in. So the questions we should be asking ourselves are, is my building completely waterproof? Can dirty water get into the building? Are all the gutters working properly, directing dirty away from the building? Do any of my fan housings leak and let water into the building? Are my buildings at risk from flooding? Are the walls porous? Do joints leak? All those sort of small questions that we do need to make sure we sort out first. Secondly, and the one we never like to hear, is that in a lot of cases the virus is walked in to the building, either by ourselves or vermin and things like that. So how meticulous are your entry protocols? How clean are your entry areas? Do your barriers that you have in the system actually work? Can you change your boots without touching the floor with your clean feet? Yeah, all those sort of little questions we need to be asking to make sure they're 100% long before we start worrying about what's potentially coming on a wheel. So all I'm actually saying is that, put simply, what you need to be looking at the moment is, rather than potentially spending thousands and thousands on some expensive, difficult to install wheel wash system, you need to look a lot harder, closer to the building, and actually make sure that all those little repairs and the little gaps that virus could get in is sorted. Once you've done that, then we can start looking at the wider environment and trying to keep it out. But again, look at spending a few pounds and a bit of time rather than tens of thousands of pounds and of your time. Thank you. Bye.